the only thing I wanted. And I came out and I used to look in shops and see drums. That's all I looked at. I never looked at guitars or anything.
My dad used to be a trumpet player himself, and for my birthday, he once bought me a trumpet from Rushworth and Drapers, one of the music stores in Liverpool.
And then when I was 16, I re-established a relationship with my mother for about 4 years. She taught me music. She first of all taught me the banjo, and from that I progressed to guitar. The first song I learned was Ain't That a Shame, an old rock hit, Fats Domino.
When I was 13, 14, I used to be at the back of the class trying to draw guitars. Big cello cutaway guitars with F-holes, little solid ones with pointy cutaways and rounded cutaways. And, you know, I was totally into guitars. And I heard about this kid who had a guitar, and it was £3.10. It was just a little acoustic, round hole type guitar. And I got the £3.10 off my mother. That was a lot of money in those days.
But I suddenly figured out that I wouldn't be able to sing with this thing stuck in my mouth. So I went back to the shop and traded it in for a guitar. So that was a Zenith, the first guitar I ever had.
I was about 16. I bought a 30 bob bass drum, 30 shillings. Huge, mother. Just a huge one-sided bass drum.
It's a joke in the family. Guitar's all right for a hobby, but it won't earn you any money.
In fact, you know, sometimes we'd travel the whole of Liverpool just to go to someone who knew a chord we didn't know. Remember once hearing about a bloke who knew B7. Now, we knew E and we knew A. It was quite easy, but we didn't know B7. We didn't know B7. That was kind of the missing part of the link, the other chord, the lost chord. So on we got on the bus, trooped across Liverpool, changed a couple of buses, found this fella, and he showed us dum, 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 B7. We learned it off him, got back on the bus, went home to our mates and went, zing, got it. I lived very near each other in Liverpool. So, in fact, we were just a bus stop away from each other. I'd get on the bus, and then the stop afterwards, George would get on. So being quite close in age, we'd sit together and we'd talk about stuff and that. In fact, he was, I think, about 1.5 years younger than me. That's quite a big age difference at that time. So I suppose I used to talk down to him a little bit, as you do to a sort of kid who's 1.5 years younger than him, when he's sort of 14.5 and I'm sort of 16, you know. Might have been a failing of mine to tend to sort of talk down to him because I'd known him as a younger kid.
He was always about 9 months older than I. Even now, he's still 9 months older than me.
Paul met me the first day I did Bebopaloola live on stage, and a mutual friend brought him to see my group called the Quarrymen.
I had a mate at school who was called Ivan Vaughan, and we were born on exactly the same day in Liverpool, so we were great mates. And one day he said, do you want to come to the Wilton Village Fete? So I said, yeah, all right. So we went along one Saturday afternoon. I remember coming into the field where they had the fete, and just a bit over there was a wagon, and on the back of this, or a little stage or something, up on this stage, there was a few lads around, and there was one particular guy I noticed at the front, had a sort of checked shirt, sort of blondish kind of hair, a little bit curly, sideboards, looking pretty cool, and he was playing sort of one of these guitars guaranteed not to crack, you know, not a very good one, but he was making a very good job of it, you know, and I remember being quite impressed. And he was doing a song by the Del Vikings called Come Go With Me. And the thing about it was, he obviously didn't know the words, but he was pulling in lyrics from blues songs. So instead of going, come little darling, come and go with me, which is right, he'd then go, down, down, down to the penitentiary. And he'd be doing sort of stuff he'd heard on Big Bill Brunsey records and stuff. So I thought, that's clever. He's pretty good. That was John.
And we met and we talked after the show, and I saw he had talent, and he was playing guitar backstage and doing 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran.
Ooh, well, I gotta get with a record machine. When it comes to rockin', she's a queen. We'll love to dance on a Saturday night. All alone where I can hold her tight.
But the thing I think impressed him most was I knew all the words.
5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7,
5 more. On 12th I'm starting to drag. 15 before I'm ready to sag. Get to the top, I'm too tired to rock. Well, caught me up on the telephone, said, coming over, baby, 'cause I'm all alone. Said, baby, you're mighty sweet, but I'm in bed with aching feet. This went on for a couple of days, but I couldn't stay away. So I walked 1, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 85 more. On the 12th, I'm starting to sag. 15 before I'm ready to drag. I get to the top, I'm too tired to rock.
I was the singer and the leader. I made the decision whether to have him in the group or not. Was it better to have a guy who was better than the people I had in, obviously, or not? And that decision was to let Paul in to make the group stronger. And I turned around to him right then on first meeting and said, do you want to join the group? And I think he said yes the next day. George